Well, the scriptures tell us that there's one mediator between God and humankind, and that is the man Christ Jesus. Only God can save. And so Jesus comes into the world both fully God and fully human in order to bring about that perfect reconciliation between God and humanity, that God enters into our world, identifies with us, isn't removed from us, isn't one of these gods in mythology, but actually enters into our world, is wisdom embodied, is salvation embodied, as we see the entrance of a breakthrough, really, in comparison to other religions. So I would say that salvation is possible because Jesus is indeed the God-man, that salvation is only possible, only God can save. So then the question is, well, how do we compare Jesus? And I've said this before, how do we compare Jesus to other world religious leaders? How do they stand up? Well, I've seen the claims that Jesus made are unique, and his claims are vindicated when he rises from the dead. All these other world religious leaders perished; their bodies died, and remained in they died and remained in the tombs. But with Jesus, he rose again from the dead, which signals yet another indication of uniqueness. That he makes claims. His own very conservative Jewish followers worshipped him. Thomas says, "My Lord and my God," calls Jesus divine, and then Jesus himself is raised from the dead. We also see another indication of uniqueness is that the Christian faith emphasizes the grace of God, that we are saved not through our own performance, that salvation or liberation is kind of an Eastern term, that salvation does not rest upon me. If it were up to me, I could never perform adequately for God. God is actually the one who needs to step in and rescue me. And so the heart's cry of God be merciful to me, a sinner, is really what is at the core of salvation, that we cannot engineer our own salvation. We've been saved, as Ephesians 2 says, by grace through faith, that it's not of ourselves, it's not of our performance, it's not how many mantras we chant, it's not how many beggars we help. It is a matter of trusting in God, releasing our pride, acknowledging our own wrongdoing, and saying, God, nothing in my hands I bring. And we say, simply to thy cross I cling, Jesus. So salvation is possible through Jesus, for a number of different for a number of different reasons. That there can only be a logical bridge, that God becomes human in order to bring salvation to us. The theologian Anselm reasoned this, why God became human. Well, it's only God who can save. And so in essence, we see that God is, what sin is human beings substituting themselves for God. But in salvation, it is God substituting himself for humanity. And so this is really the picture that we have. It's a beautiful picture and really embodies all of these epic stories of in world literature, in many of our movies today, that there is redemption. In fact, Tolkien, the author of The Lord of the Rings, said that the gospel story of God, creation, fall, redemption, and recreation, that all of our best fairy tales, once upon a time, things were good, that there was harmony between human beings and God or whatever, in our earthly stories, there was peace and so forth. And then a curse came, something went wrong, human beings deviated. And then everyone fell into great dismay. There was curse, there was, things were going wrong all the time. And then a champion finally comes in and rescues those people from their, they can't do anything about it. So somebody has to come in from the outside and rescue them. And then finally, after evil has been removed, they lived happily ever after. That is the story. But it's not just another fairy tale. It's actually historically true. It's Jesus is, as C.S. Lewis said, myth became fact. So these mythical stories that are now incarnated into Jesus, who is the wisdom of God, who has dispersed his lights throughout the world, not saving lights, that's only through Jesus, but at least many pointers that move us in the direction of redemption in Jesus Christ.